Okay, we're live from my house in Connemara, finally. Hello to everyone out there, readers and friends and family. Hi, Mom. My name is Celeste Auge, and I'll be reading from Galway Stories, edited by the inimitable Alan McMonigal and Lisa Frank. And inimitable isn't a great word to use on a live stream, but anyway. It's published by Dura Press, and I'm here in association with the holdingcell.eu, who have been setting up online readings since March with Irish authors. Now, I should have been reading earlier today as part of Courch, but COVID-19. So Courch continues online with readings later on in the week, and Galway Stories continues online. They'll have a launch hopefully later on when all this clears, when it's safe to do so. Galway Stories will continue with Orla Foyle on Friday. Now, I think that's all the official stuff taken care of. This is called DeeDee and the Sorrows, which is indeed a reference to the Irish myth. Okay. At the back of the Roisin Dove, the door is not a door. It's a curtain. A heavy black one that makes Deirdre think of grand hotels and magic shows. Stephen, her ex-manager / ex-boyfriend, pulls it aside, and she follows him into the venue. Small tables look as though they could be pulled over to one side of the room to clear a space for dancing, but they're bolted down, with spindly chairs and wooden stools clustered around them. The room is cold. What was she thinking? Going on the road around Ireland in mid-November? It had seemed like a good idea back in front of a gas fire in Dublin. Just get to work, don't think about it. Set up and sound check. Deirdre's pink fleece pajama bottoms snag on the end of a guitar stand, and she nearly topples the entire pile. 3 hours trapped in a van with 5 guys, and she's about ready to kick someone. Owen tries to yank down her bottoms. She tells him to F off out of the van with the other guys and help bring in the gear while she hunts down the house sound engineer. Owen's 30, only 4 years younger than her, but sometimes she feels as though the age gap turns her into a handy version of his mother. One more prank like that, and she might not be able to have sex with him anymore. There's no sign of the sound guy, so she digs her phone out of her bag. Lily should be getting into bed soon. She misses her daughter, though less now that she's at the venue, now that she has had some time to recover the scattered bits of herself, glue her idea of who she is back together without the umbilical pull of Lily's 4-year-old stream of questions. Mama, where does money come from? Who makes it? Why do you need it? And on she goes. Deirdre mock whispers goodnight, 2 kisses into the phone, and then 2 more, asks her to put her dad back on the phone. She wants to talk to him. About what? Lily asks. Stuff, Deirdre says, not in the mood for more long-winded explanations that will only lead to more questions. Just give him the phone, sweetie. She can hear Pete in the background saying something similar, and she misses Lily even less. Did you give her both inhalers? Yep. And her tonic? Yes. His voice gets tense over this one syllable, but Deirdre can't stop herself. Don't forget she needs to have a poo before bedtime, or else she'll be up at 4 a.m. with a pain in her belly. This time, he doesn't try to hide the sigh. He doesn't try to hide the sigh. We'll be fine. Stop fussing. Besides, my mum's here to help us out. Deirdre wishes him good luck and disconnects. Thank God he wants to help raise Lily, and that they broke up early on. He doesn't question her itchy feet. She's lucky she can take 5 days and head out on the road, feel the tug of a lily-shaped gap inside of her. She pulls out the set list, a fresh sheet of paper from her notebook, and a black marker. Gig number 3, Galway on a Tuesday night, in the damp cold, in a recession. Still, it's supposed to be a party town, and the manager claims that this is a student pub on weekdays. Move the cover of Girls Wanna Have Fun from her encore set to the top. Her own songs can wait till 3 songs in, when she is warmed up and the crowd is warmed up. Deirdre walks around the room, tries to get a feel for the place, pretends to help the boys as they load the gear and scatter it in front of the low stage. Pacing calms her down, gets her ready for the gig. The house lights are up, and she can see too much. The beer stains on the tabletops, the bits of silver gaff tape left on the walls, blobs of chewing gum, and other things worn into the black wooden floor. Venues without punters are gloomy places. A clang startles her. The stage is filling up with cases of different sizes and shapes, holding drums, guitars, keyboards. Owen steps onto the stage, hoists her handbag over her head. Where do you want this monster? It's the bag that can fit everything. A spare t-shirt, her scrapbook of random magazine clippings, an original Sony Walkman, the kind that takes cassettes. Deirdre doesn't have an MP3 player, but she has an extensive back catalogue in her head and a good cassette collection. She likes the hiss of tape, the ghost prints of other songs on tapes that haven't been played for years. Lob it over to me, she says, but Owen knows better and reaches down to hand it to her. There are too many distractions up by the stage. She aims for the back of the venue, figuring she can hide out behind the sound desk, get some space. Back when the lovely girls were learning to write thank you notes and to make suitable conversation, Deirdre chased love and the unexpected. The nuns warned her that she would end up living a life of sin, that she would end up a single mother without a penny to her name or a steady job, and on the whole, they were right. She spots a poster for tonight's gig next to the black curtain. Tuesday night special, DeeDee and the Sorrows, 9 p.m. till late, no support. So, she's one of the Tuesday night specials. Sounds like a dodgy tribute band. Deirdre tries out the first verse of Fishbowl, slowly, to make sure her voice is still working. Way back when she was in school, the nuns used to stick her at the very edge of the choir, towards the back, claiming her voice would put off the rest of the girls. One nun in particular, Sister Alphonsus, a square-shaped hag, used to make her stand beside the piano and practice the songs on her own, telling the other girls that they were to listen quietly and make sure that they never sang like Deirdre. Her range is good, but she sounds raspy, though she doesn't smoke. Well, how are ya? Now there's a voice I haven't heard in years, booms a voice she had finally stripped from her head. She turns around, face tense, shoulders tense in her old t-shirt, and sure enough, it's Liam Rinn. Last time she'd heard, he was in the Canaries playing covers. Liam, she says, and nods. 6 years. Keep it cool. He broke up with her after 3 intense years together. Dumped her by text message on the first mobile phone she had ever owned. It took a fling with another bass player and an unplanned pregnancy to get over him, plus 6 months of writing nasty, but mostly true things about him in black permanent marker on the toilets of any pubs she went to. Deirdre, gorgeous, he says, and walks right by her, pats her on the shoulder on his way over to the sound desk. Sorry I'm late, had to run out for a spare lead. He holds up an Ethernet cable. Surfing emergency. Great timing. She looks down at her fuzzy pajama bottoms. Forget clean underwear in case you get into an accident. You should always wear your best jeans when traveling, in case you run into the man who stole pieces of you. It's way too late for her to change bottoms. It's time for the sound check with her band of borrowed musicians, friends who have agreed to come on the road for a 5-day world tour of Ireland for peanuts, who have left their girlfriends and wives and crap jobs and bands to play backup to promote her first ever solo CD on her own independent label, Indobabe. The album that took 4 lily years to make, between nappy changes and feeding times and part-time temp jobs and too many romantic mishaps. He's just one man, that's all, just one man. Breathe in and out and forget he's in the room. She can easily think of at least 3 bad choices in her recent past. Not bad men, Liam is the only one of those she has risked. But men who expected that deep down she is like the other women they know, itching to take their lives in hand, fill up the gaps that emerged once they left home, imagining she'd be domesticated. Forget him, forget them all. Deirdre takes a deep breath and stands up on stage in front of the mic. Slings her bass strap over her shoulder, waits while the guys tune and twang and plug in the bits that need plugging. Liam signals her to test the mic. 1, 2, 1, 2. F you, F you. She sings the first verse of Your Cheatin' Heart, hopes the message will get through to him, sticks her chin out. The band is as ready as they are ever going to be, but Deirdre wants to try Blame It on Breakfast without the keyboards, just to hear how it would sound, raw. Owen is down on his knees in the middle of the small stage, his Nord keyboard balanced across 2 low pub stools, the laptop open behind it on a third stool. They lost the keyboard stand while they were loading up the van, or at least it hasn't made it to Galway. It'll sound stupid, that's how it'll sound, he says. And Deirdre isn't in the mood for another row, so she gets him to come in on the last verse. She wishes she hadn't had the bright idea to bring her boyfriend on tour with her. She wishes that for 1 week she could be free from every kind of love. Outside the Roisin, the street glistens in the rain, an uneven sprinkle of mismatched buildings providing some shelter from the wind. Dominic Street Upper, it says on the tiny sign across from the pizza cabin. Deirdre counts at least 3 pubs on this short winding street, along with a few restaurants and takeaways. In the time the band spent sound checking, doormen, standard issue size and weight, serious face, dressed in regulation black, have taken up position in front of the pubs, the adult club and the casino. People are huddled outside a place called Monroe's, the other venue at the top of the road. Deirdre shivers with the damp, but tries to fit in with the general buzz. Young, all the time in the world, out for a laugh. The pavement narrows until the lads have to walk in single file. Locals step out of their way onto the road, walk past the front door of the Roisin, looking for somewhere else. Deirdre steps back into the venue, and the song Horses unfurls in her mind. When she first heard Patti Smith's voice, she decided she would become a singer, no matter what the nuns said. Life always comes back to the music, especially the music she loves. 80s girl pop, Bananarama, the Bangles, Cyndi Lauper, the Go-Go's, and the depressive men, Tom Waits, Leonard Cohen, Nick Cave, Hank Williams, Vic Chestnut. When she couldn't get enough of the kind of music she wanted to hear, songs started to write themselves in her head. She can still smell the garlic on her breath from the cardboard pizza. She doesn't mind smelling of garlic, but when she is on the road surrounded by men in black t-shirts, hefting amplifiers and favorite guitars in and out of venues, testosterone on display wherever she turns, the strong odor leaking through her pores makes her feel like she is turning into one of them. In the blank glare of the ladies' toilets, she pulls on her denim miniskirt, the one she made out of an old pair of jeans an ex-boyfriend had left behind, and her superhero boots, calf-high blue boxing boots with deep red toes and yellow laces running all the way up to the top. She leaves the Bangles t-shirt on. She figures she needs whatever moral support she can get, even if it is screen printed. 2 minutes to 9 o'clock and the venue is barren. It could probably fit 100-odd punters on a good night. From the stage, the room looks even emptier. The black walls and floor suck in the light, so that the round wooden tables clustered in front of the stage seem to float up toward her. Tuesday night special at the venue. Even the poster. She should have known her band would be bigger than the audience. There are 3 of them sitting out there. Van, who drove them down here in spite of the cast on his right arm. Stephen, her manager/ex. And a teenage girl in a 50s style dress who looks as if she must have a really good fake ID. She's the only one who scares Deirdre. She has been reading a book of poetry, which she carefully bookmarks and places beside her pint of Guinness the moment the band walks on stage. And Deirdre can see her lean forward out of the green shadow pooling around the pillar behind her, into the yellow lamplight that covers the front of the stage, her stage, the one she has just stepped onto, carefully picking her way around Eddie and his 2 backup Telecasters, past Owen squatting down in front of a pub stool, trying not to press the keys too hard in case the keyboard goes flying off its makeshift stand. And the tangle of cables Van and Stephen help string around the stage, connecting each instrument to its amplifier, each amp to its power source, miking up every one of them, even John hiding behind his drums, so they can join her in the first chorus. The room is still cold. Only the spotlight gives her any heat, and the small round stools are still tidily gathered around the empty tables. She frets the note on the back of her battered pale blue Danelectro bass. Deirdre doesn't feel the sound. John calls out time, and the band is off, playing without her. Deirdre tries to catch up. She's never missed an intro before, and when she should be singing, her voice cracks. Stage death, and her life flashes before her eyes. Boyfriends, bills, too many different jobs, one shock pregnancy and one near miss, pop soundtracks, and Leonard's Hallelujah. She steps back from the microphone. Right, stop, she calls and takes off her bass. She can't do it. Deirdre knows this is the choice. Sing now to a near empty room for the one member of the audience who has paid the cover charge, or drop the bass guitar. Let it break and go back to her temping data entry job, aim for permanence, a deposit for a house, singing in the shower, holidays, and nice things, because she's going to be 35 years old in March, and this is not going to get any easier, the empty room and the stage alchemy. Give me 3 minutes. But instead of charging off, she stands in front of her microphone, whispers something that no one else can hear, and summons back her younger self, her shiny-eyed dreamer, the part of her that can do this gig, and summons back the music, the magic part of the world. Pass me your guitar, she says to Eddie, and he hands it over, carefully, though he looks as though he would rather not. Her voice relaxes open, and she starts off unaccompanied on the opening lines of Bird on the Wire, the first song she ever learnt on the guitar. Then she goes for it, hammering out power chords on the borrowed guitar. The music is taut. Deirdre's body is electric with what she sees when she looks out into the black room, the face of her daughter Lily, 4 years old and convinced she will one day rule the world. Her own face at age 4, singing into a hairbrush, and at 14, tearing her t-shirts, and at 24, with bright orange hair, ready to take on the world with music and poetry and the contents of her soul. And now she sings for the part of her that still chases butterflies around the balcony of their 3rd floor flat, for her little girl who thinks a song can make a midnight monster go away. She sings for the crap she has been through and the fed-up days yet to come. She sings as though her life depends on it. That's my story, and this is the book. You can buy it online at durapress.com, and here's the purple card with her name on it. So, thank you for watching, and stay safe and stay sane. Bye.